Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Aaron Sampson.
And Ryan Schubert.
And as promised, we are back with some Armored Kill tips and tricks. We'll get you going.
We're looking here at the third expansion for Battlefield 3, Armored Kill.
So far, impressions are good. I think this is probably well, I can't say the best. Karkin was very good. But this is definitely like leaps and bounds above close quarters.
Yeah, I think this makes close quarters look like even more like the accident that it was.
So, I think the thing that we've had the most questions on is the M142 and its Russian compatriot, the BM-23 rocket artillery trucks.
Yeah, the mobile artillery. Hard to hit with.
The biggest issue we've had so far with the artillery truck is there's no sense of depth.
Right.
You don't really have any good way to gauge where your rockets are going to land. And they don't seem to do high amounts of splash damage, so it's just not very forgiving.
You definitely benefit from having teammates that can help you walk it in. So communication is going to be important, I think, for this expansion in general.
So we set out to find out how to make the rocket truck more powerful. One of the great things about Armored Kill is that the assignment system actually gives you weapons for your vehicles.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I kind of am surprised that this is the first time they thought to do something like this, because this could have been done with all of the classes to unlock guns. They could have been using this all along, but it's good that they realize now to do it, and it's cool.
The first thing you should do is go for the anti-air support assignment, which involves getting 15 kills in a gunship. So go to a gunship now.
Go to the gunship, and it'll probably take you probably a few tries, since the gunship is pretty easy to shoot down if your team isn't coordinated.
We will get to the gunship.
Right.
Because the mobile artillery truck on its own vanilla is actually not very accurate or powerful. Your end goal is to basically get the airburst rockets as a secondary if you want to be effective against ground targets.
Now this is essentially like the gunner position on a helicopter, right?
Yeah. But there we go. So we got our 15 kills. We got the artillery truck's anti-air rocket, and now, oh yeah, that's right. We have to go actually get in the truck.
Need to get into a truck. Now they're not always that easy to find.
And they're pretty popular, so they're hard to get into. Such as there where I was waiting for one and it spawned on top of me, and the other guy got it. So there's a number of strategies you can employ to try and get one, mainly to harass the enemy one until the guy jumps out.
Ride around on a buggy.
But in all honesty, the best thing to do is just find a low population server.
Yeah, look for something with a 15 to 20 player count on console, and then on PC, I'm not really sure what the threshold would
That
be.
also gives you some leeway to switch sides, maybe, if the other side is not using their rocket truck.
Yes.
Okay, so we got in our gunship, we got our 15 kills, we got the anti-air rockets, and now you will find out that this truck is actually kind of an anti-air beast.
It's got basically the equivalent of a super javelin.
What's even better about it is, for example, the C-130 can only fire out of the left side, and with the rocket truck, you can go to the right side of the fixed orbit of the C-130.
Right.
So there's nothing they can do to you.
Yeah, they can't hit you.
So go ahead, hop in, head over to Bandar Desert, which has the most open range, basically, on air assets. And maybe in like 2 rounds, you'll have shot down plenty of people.
Yeah, I mean, every time that AC-130 goes up, you've got something to take out.
So there we go. I already got it, but I'm going to shoot down this one too, and I got my airburst missile.
And how many of those can you fire at once? Like
2 at a time.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Just so you, ladies and gentlemen, you get to see it, the airburst rocket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like fireworks here.
They were kind of wondering what happened, and then I told them.
Oh, there we go.
So again, I think as is right now, the mobile artillery truck probably needs some balancing. It seems kind of underpowered, as opposed to the C-130, which is delicate but powerful.
Right.
I think the rocket truck is just delicate. Next up, you know you want it. It's the quad bike.
The quad bike is back.
The quad bike is just ridiculously fun. It's so fun, I actually got kicked out of a couple of servers because I was not playing the objective. I was playing the quad bike.
I'm running around on the quad bike. Oh, it's been so long since Bad Company 2. We just had to take it out.
Now, the quad bike is best used for, like, solo flanking tactics.
Yes.
They also fly really far. We didn't do it, but as a support, you can also just use C4 on your quad bike to devastate enemy armor, but make sure that you're not in the middle of a long walk back to where you want to go.
And you know, in a weird way, it's not even that bad as an anti-armor or anti-air vehicle if you've got a guy on the back with a launcher. 'Cause it's fast and hard to hit.
So that being said, the first rule of quad bike is if you get into a gunfight, be the first guy off the quad bike.
Do not stay on the quad bike.
You're pretty vulnerable to troops when you're on the quad bike itself.
Here we go. Uh-oh, he's got a buddy too.
Yeah, but I got a gun. So yeah, quad bike's super good at flanking. You can even, one of the things you'll see here in a little bit is I just switch back and forth between the seats of my own quad bike with an anti-air rocket launcher. On Bandar Desert and on Armor Shield, if you're an engineer, definitely roll with your surface-to-air missile because you will need to be knocking out those air assets.
Definitely true.
So next, here's what you think the gunship is.
Oh yeah.
But here's what the gunship actually is. The gunship is a strange combination of incredible offensive power with almost no defense.
It's really not very good for defense.
I mean, we've already seen moderators and admins saying, don't ram the C-130. And how do you get the gunship, Mr. Ryan Schubert?
Well, every map, in Conquest mode, every map has a flag which, if you capture it, it will sort of just spawn the gunship in space.
And once if the enemy team has it, you have to capture it and then shoot the enemy gunship down and spawn into it.
If you take that flag and the enemy gunship is still in the air, it won't magically disappear. They'll keep that until it gets shot down. So the gunship comes with basically 4 seats, 2 of which are these top-mounted anti-air guns that are sort of like the stationary AA that you'll find at a base. And then you have a 25mm cannon, which is essentially the same as an attack gunship's gunner seat. And then you have another larger cannon, which is essentially a main battle tank.
And something you should know is that the flares come from the AA guns on top.
Oh, yes, that's very important. Because you're going to be using the flares all the time.
So if you want to survive in a gunship for any length of time, and you will only survive for so long because there's so many things that can shoot you down, you have to be mindful of anything that's trying to shoot you down from the air and immediately go up to the AA guns to either pop flares or attempt to shoot down aircraft. That being said, aircraft can fly low to high and shoot the belly of the gunship, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Basically nothing.
Now, the first rule of gunship, if you're on the ground, is don't ignore the gunship. The second rule of gunship is don't get caught out in the open by the gunship.
Yeah, the gunship will make your day go downhill pretty dang fast.
So, in conclusion, I think the gunship is a lot of fun. It's short-lived, so enjoy it while it lasts. If your team protects it well, it can be absolutely devastating to the enemy team. But if your team doesn't protect it, it'll be gone in like a couple of minutes, 3 minutes or less.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll see in matches that are particularly imbalanced, it will be because one team really knows how to use it and one team can't get a handle.
Okay, let's talk tank destroyers.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the most straightforward new addition to the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically kind of like I don't know if I would say a perfect balance, but definitely a balance between your infantry fighting vehicle and your main battle tank. It's basically got a main battle tank gun on top. It doesn't have the 50 caliber gunner seat, but it does have the gunner slots that the IFV would normally have.
And it has 2 forward-facing gunner slots from inside without any...
Yes, unlike the IFV, people who are gunning from the inside can actually see forward
and backwards. So.
And slightly backwards, like it's kind of at an angle.
So it's got better placed internal gun positions.
Correct.
The trick with the tank destroyer is, keep moving.
You've got the speed, use it.
And also know when to run.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely doesn't have the armor of a main battle tank, and you would be wise to be using an engineer rocking this vehicle. Although I'd say in general, whenever you're in a vehicle, you should probably be an engineer.
And yeah, we'll talk about that next. Armored Kill is primarily a recon and engineer package.
Absolutely.
You can also employ some interesting tactics against rocket trucks with these because they are so fast and nimble. You can even snipe rocket trucks from all the way across the map with the main gun on this.
Yeah.
I noticed the main gun on this is actually has a pretty high muzzle velocity, and I've shot down helicopters, and I almost hit the C-130 one time with it.
No kidding.
It's got a very responsive cannon.
That was good.
You didn't know I had the SKS. And I decided to throw this in here just for the folks who are asking about the main battle tank versus the tank destroyer.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is your opinion? Because, before the patch that came with this release, a lot of people were of the opinion that the LAVs and the IFVs were actually more powerful than the battle tanks because you could so quickly change between rounds and you could move so much faster that you'd often be winning fights against main battle tanks head-to-head.
I think the main battle tanks probably, oddly enough, have a better chance against these vehicles just because their rate of fire is much lower. One of the bigger problems with the IFV is that the constant stream of fire into the main battle tank blocked the view of the person sitting in the tank.
You can't see what the hell's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. We had the same idea at the exact same time. Both of us were like, we're not going to make it. Bail, bail. And then, had a gunfight.
What are you doing here?
There's a moment of surprise. All right, so let's talk about those of you who don't want to play engineer.
Your options.
Your team should have one or two really good recon players on the field. Recon, as always, it's a force multiplier. If your team is too weighted towards recon, you'll lose because you'll lose to armor. But your job as a recon is to eat engineers alive.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna with more armor. There's gonna be more guys that are taking their time to fire a rocket. There's gonna be more guys that are taking their time repairing a vehicle, and those guys are easy pickings for the recon.
Yeah, you will have a lot of targets of opportunity, and much like the role of recon in real life, your job is to disrupt. You shoot guys who are repairing their tanks. Shoot guys who are firing rockets into the sky. Flank teams. This is probably the best map here, Death Valley, for recon. Just because it's night, you can hide in the brush. You can spot targets at long distance. This is actually a round of tank superiority, where I was counter-sniping recon guys who were putting down SOFLAM. I was waiting for engineers to, turn on their repair tool and taking them out.
And that SKS is so good for that kind of work, where you can be in close or far away.
So the trick is to overshoot the enemy team so that they don't see you when they go past, and then wait for them to take that first tank round and hop out, and then just take them out.
Just be patient, and it'll happen.
Also, as always, in rush mode, use your recon to cover the crates. There's a lot of good lines of sight on crates.
Yeah, so the map design is a little bit more like Bad Company 2, isn't it?
Yeah. Recon's very useful for covering crate objectives.
Which I would say has been sorely lacking in the previous expansions.
Also in Bandar Desert, the town has a series of 3 flags that are all infantry combat areas.
I need you to attack this objective. Be advised, we've taken out the objective.
Any closing thoughts on the starter guide for the Armored Kill expansion?
Well, I'd say, you're going to see 9/10 engineers on the map, so keep that in mind. Sniping is a good idea in some of these situations. I've seen support used to some effect, more so in Rush, but a little bit on CQ, and you may as well leave your medkit at home.
Yeah, you're just really not going to do much with Assault on this map.
I mean,
on this expansion.
I took out Assault a couple times just to try it out and see if I could do anything, but not really. I mean, yeah, you can heal yourself sometimes, but you're not going to be doing much for your team.
So that was our starter guide for Armored Kill. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any tips and tricks of your own, we would love to see them in the comments below. We talked about mobile artillery, the quad bike, the gunships, tank destroyers, and how to play as a recon.
Heck yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe.
As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the battlefield.